Hi students, in my last video lectures I discussed regarding what is Java and what is object-oriented program, and I also discussed about Java applications and Java applet. What I covered till now in my two video lectures. This one is my third video lecture. In this lecture we are going to see about difference between JavaScript and Java. That is our main topic, difference between JavaScript and Java. I hope that till now I discussed and we learn about what is Java, applications of Java, why Java become very popular. So why Java supported by billions of people? Billions of people. That's why Java become very popular because of features and because of it is user friendly, simple to learn and easy to apply. Now the second video lecture I explain about what is Java applet. Now I'm going to talk about JavaScript and difference between JavaScript and Java. So content of the lecture, what is JavaScript, why use JavaScript, difference between Java, JavaScript, explanation with examples, references. What is JavaScript? JavaScript is a lightweight, interpreted programming language. It is designed for creating network-centric applications. It is complementary to and integrated with Java. I will explain clearly. Just we look at the definition of JavaScript. JavaScript is very easy to implement because it is integrated with HTML. It is open and cross-platform. Now listen, what is the Java platform and why we are using Java script? And when we are implementing JavaScript and where we are using JavaScript language. All of you know about applet, Java applet. Okay? Java applet, we are using a web page. Okay? And for dynamic content. Dynamic content. The same manner, we are using JavaScript for dynamic web pages. So what is the meaning of dynamic web page, sir? Simple. Dynamic web page means when you are going to design the web page, what is the web page? What you are able to see in your browsing time, some data will be displayed on monitor. This is called window. And when you want to change that matter, you can change it. When you are clicking, and it will appear new window. When you click, and again new window will appear with some data. So the all things called web page. That is, when you are open the website, you are able to see some content on that particular page. That particular page decorate and design with different pictures and different data, different paragraphs. That arranged page is called web page. So using up the HTML language, we will design the web pages. Now, why we are in JavaScript, sir? Why it is a lightweight, interpreted programming language designed for creating network-centric applications integrated with Java. So our JavaScript main intention is to design the dynamic web pages. Using up the HTML language, you can design the static web page. What is the meaning of static web page? Static web page means when you are go through that particular web page, no changes will appear. No changes at all you would observe. The same data will display multiple times. Okay, but dynamic web page means the data it will appear dynamically. For example, as you are browsing the website, a particular website, James Polytechnic website. When you are browsing the website, just you are clicking the CS department. When you are clicking CS department, automatically it will show the details of CS department. That means what? It's showing some data dynamically. At the same time, when you are clicking some button, it will give some different information. When you click on some particular line, it will show some different information. That is called dynamic web page. So static web page is different. It will not show any differences, any changes. But dynamic web page, when you are clicking on that, it will show multiple pages and different contents and different data and different pictures dynamically. That's why it is called dynamic web page. So using of JavaScript, we are developing dynamic web pages. Okay, dynamic web pages. That is the actual purpose and aim of JavaScript, to develop the dynamic web pages. I hope you understand what is the JavaScript is. JavaScript is a lightweight interpreted programming language you are using for generating or designing of dynamic web pages. Advantages of learning JavaScript. JavaScript helps you develop a great front-end as well as back-end software using different JavaScript based on frameworks like jQuery, Node.js, etc. So now about the frameworks. Frameworks is nothing but a collection of some different applications. Using of that, we can develop some projects. We develop some projects using of these frameworks. So using of JavaScript, we can design the frameworks. JavaScript is everywhere. It comes installed on every modern web browser, and so to learn JavaScript, you really do not need any special environment setup. For example, Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, and every browser as of today support JavaScript. So it supports by the different web browsers: Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari. Also any type of browser it may be, all browsers will supported by JavaScript. JavaScript help you to really beautiful and crazy fast websites. You can develop your website with a console-like look and feel and give your user the best graphical user experience. Means what? So we are using the web design. We are using different web pages. Just you are browsing, and web pages are showing multiple colors, multiple styles. So these all things we can develop by JavaScript in different way. It looks beautifully. You can decorate beautifully, awesome, gorgeously. By using of JavaScript, we can develop our website in an amazing way. And JavaScript uses has now extended to mobile app development, desktop app development, and games development. This opens many opportunities for you as JavaScript programmer. And now JavaScript slowly developing different apps and mobiles, games and desktop development, and different areas and different scenarios and different applications and different apps we can develop using the JavaScript. So JavaScript programmer now is demandable in all areas. A great things about JavaScript is that you will find tons of frameworks and library already developed which can be used directly in our software development to reduce your time to market. I already said, using of the frameworks, we can develop a lot of projects based on our requirement. We can develop the apps, we can develop the applications, we can develop the games using of the frameworks, because frameworks it is the container of multiple library functions. Tons of frameworks, tons of library functions inside of this framework structure. Using of these frameworks, you can develop multiple programs based on the customer requirement. So this is the advantage in JavaScript. Difference between the JavaScript and Java. Java is a programming language. It is a scripting language. JavaScript is a scripting language. Programming language just to write in the code and get the output. Scripting language just to describing and just to want to give the information regarding the particular thing. It may be an organization, it may be an institution, any company, any object like that. It will just give the information, description about any particular thing. Java is a pure object-oriented programming language, but JavaScript is an object-based language. Java is a stand-alone language. JavaScript is not a stand-alone language, as it needs to be integrated into a HTML program for execution. What meaning of standalone language? Standalone language, it doesn't need any internet connection. It can execute without having the internet connection. But JavaScript is not like that. It's need a internet connection, plug-in or internet connection needed to run the JavaScript. And again, JavaScript integrated into a HTML program for execution. Java is a strongly typed language, which means that the user has to decide the data type of the variable before declaring and using it. Example, int a, the variable a can store the value of integer type only. The strongly typed language means what? You should decide the data type, variable, integer, float, or character, whatever it may be. But JavaScript is not like that. It is a loosely typed language. JavaScript is a loosely typed language. Why? Which means that the user does not have to worry about the data type of the variable before and after the declaration. Example, where a variable can store the value of any data type. What is the thing in Java programming language is, in Java, once you declare as an int a, that should be integer type. That should not be any alphabet, and that should not be any float value, fraction value. But here in JavaScript, not like that. Once we declare a variable, and that variable we can take, it may be integer, it may be float value, it may be take char value, we can take any type, any data type. I hope you understand this point. Next thing is, Java program should be compiled before execution. JavaScript needs to be integrated into the HTML program for execution. So Java, once you write the code, then you will go for execution. That's all. JavaScript is not like that. JavaScript should be integrated with the HTML language for execution. JavaScript will not execute alone, but it will integrate it with the HTML language for execution. That we have to understand. It is the combination of HTML language. Next one, Java doesn't need any browser. It doesn't need any browser. A web browser is not required to run Java programs. But web browser is essential to run the JavaScript program. It may be Firefox, it may be Google Chrome, it may be Safari, it may be any a browser, yes, need a browser to run the JavaScript program, but Java language, it doesn't need a browser. So please understand the difference between JavaScript and Java. It is one of the complex languages to learn. Which one? Java program is one of the complex languages to learn. But one of the easy languages to learn. Which one? JavaScript is very easy language to learn. Java, by utilizing the multi-thread, users can perform complicated tasks. In JavaScript, users are not able to perform complicated tasks. Simple, complicated tasks can perform by Java. The complicated tasks cannot be performed by JavaScript, by user. You have to remember this word. It requires a large amount of memory. Java language requires large amount of memory. JavaScript, it does not require that amount of memory. Java programming languages were developed by Sun Microsystems. JavaScript programming language developed by Netscape. In Java programming language, programs are saved with the .java extension. JavaScript saved with the .js extension. Java is stored on the host machine as the bytecode. JavaScript stored on the host machine, client machine as the source. Host machine, client machine. These are the differences. So last point, Java is stored on the host machine as the bytecode. JavaScript is stored on the host machine, client machine as the source code. Bytecode, source code. What is the bytecode? Java program is the bytecode and JavaScript is the source code. These are the differences between Java and JavaScript. Till now, we are discussing 12 differences between Java and JavaScript. So this is an example for the JavaScript. I already told we are using the JavaScript to design the dynamic web pages. What is the dynamic web pages? Let's just look at here. Here, 3 buttons are given. One is home, second one is about, third one is contact. When you click the home, you will get some data. A new page will appear. When you click the about, and you will get a different page. When you click contact, you will get a different page. So they are generating dynamic pages while you are operating it. Once you generate the dynamic pages, then we call it as a dynamic web page. These web pages will be designed by JavaScript. This web page will be designed by JavaScript. So, if it is a static, just imagine it's not a dynamic page. Just imagine it's a static page. Then, whatever you do, whenever you click, it will not generate. It will not give any changes to you. It will not change. So that's why that one is called static, but it's not a static, it is a dynamic page. Why? Once you click here, you will see the new page, a new content. Once you click here, it will show the some box or some data, some content or some page. That's why it's called a dynamic page. Example for the JavaScript. The entire JavaScript within the two things. One is script opening and script closing. So here the HTML body and body close, HTML close, in between JavaScript is there. This is called scripting language. A script again will close that script. We have open tag, it's the closing tag. Again HTML open tag and HTML closing tag. Just simply what you want to write, just you simply want to write hello world. So script language is JavaScript, type is called test as JavaScript. Document.write hello world. Just closing the script. You're opening the script, you're closing the script. So you should write the JavaScript in HTML language. So in HTML language, you can write the JavaScript in HTML body or HTML header. We can write wherever you want to write, it will execute. You can write inside the body, you can write the inside of the header. So you can write the HTML language, you can write the JavaScript wherever you want in HTML. It will execute. So this is a sample program for JavaScript. This is a sample program for Java. So already we discussed this program multiple times. I don't want to discuss again. This is the Java frameworks. I already told. So this is the Java frameworks for doing of multiple projects. Java programming. So in my last slides, I want to give the one reference for watching of YouTube video. So if once you click here, if you go through this one, you can get the one video lecture on YouTube that explains about JavaScript and difference between the JavaScript and Java. These are the standard textbooks. These are the standard textbooks that you will get these topics for study. I hope you understand this topic clearly. Thank you so much for your listening. So here I want to summarize one more time what we discussed in this lecture. We discussed in this lecture what is JavaScript, and we discussed in this lecture the differences between JavaScript and Java. I discussed and I explained 12 differences between JavaScript and Java, and sample code of JavaScript and sample code of Java language. I hope you understand this concept clearly. Thank you for listening.